Hey everybody. We all know how hopeless teenage love can be, and that it isn't something you might want to experience. If you were to ask me about this, I would say teenage love is like a drug, and at 15, I was very curious to see what it's like. Having seen all those Disney movies and other forms of entertainment growing up, curiosity got the better of me, and I foolishly got into a relationship after just 3 days of talking to that person. It was amazing for a while, and I got to experience it all hugging, holding hands, and of course, making out, something that was at the top of my bucket list for as long as I can remember. But I honestly think that's about all I needed to see. What I mean by this is that you can't expect to find the love of your life at 15 or even less, because I see people getting into serious relationships at a young age. Well, so much for serious. And I think it's good to learn and experience the stuff you're curious about, but try to save serious relationships for later. Because if you're under 17, just live your frickin' life. There's no reason to be tied to another person this early on. As I stated in my previous video, you gotta learn to be happy by yourself. Be happy single. I've been through two relationships, one more devastating than the last, and the best piece of advice I can offer from my experience is that teenage love shouldn't be taken too deep, unless it's part of that less than 2% people that get together in their teens and grow old and live happily ever after. Anyways, I made the mistake of thinking every relationship I had was going to be my last, and while it seemed like that, stuff happens and I ended up single and extremely hurt. I cannot emphasize how hurt I was, and I still am hurting because healing takes a long frickin' time, especially if I get this year every day in school. Now back to the drug thing. Basically, after experiencing my first relationship and then being single, I felt the urge to be in a relationship because my brain and body needed to feel the same way. I needed that love that you couldn't get from any family member desperately. And as a wise man once said, if you're shopping while you're hungry, you grab the wrong things. And I simply needed to realize I didn't need to jump back into something. I needed to go back to living life as I did before. If you really insist on having a serious relationship, then make sure you're mature enough to handle it because it's a very big responsibility. It's not fun and games. We're talking about a person's feelings here, and that's not something you should toy with. If you do, that's on you, because people remember things their whole life, and it will affect their future relationships too. It's also worth mentioning that feelings can suddenly change. As weird as it may sound, people just lose feelings. I don't really know why. I find this phenomenon very strange. I don't think I could ever lose feelings out of nowhere for someone because my love for a person goes deep. A crucial thing I have to mention is take your time. You don't have to speedrun getting into that relationship. Get to know them first and make sure the feelings are mutual because you don't want to rush into something you won't be happy with. If you're worried that you'll run out of things to talk about, take a look at your parents. How come they didn't get bored of one another? That's true love right there. A very knowledgeable yellow stretchy dog once said, if you feel something, you feel something. It's not about personality matrices and charts. It's all about the bumps in your heart. And another important thing to remember is that you shouldn't neglect yourself. Yes, a relationship is about being with another person and caring about them, but don't you even begin to put yourself below them because a breakup will destroy you. And more importantly, don't rely on others for your own happiness. Your partner may contribute to it a lot, but don't let them control your mood, because a little disagreement can lead to a ton of stress and overthinking when you don't need to be dealing with all that. I almost forgot to mention that you gotta be extremely respectful towards things like boundaries. I feel the need to clarify such a common sense thing because from experience, girls aren't treated right, and I always get so much praise for simply being myself. I got called too nice and so sweet it's unreal. And these are just examples that barely scratch the surface. I've gotten way more than this. I'm 6'4", I read feminist literature, and I drink matcha, by the way. But all jokes aside, they say nice guys finish last, and that's probably since girls like a bad guy who treats them like shit for some reason. Again, another phenomenon I can't explain. If I had someone that loved me unconditionally and would do anything for me, I'd be pretty darn satisfied. For stuff like this, I blame the internet and that social media ruined romance. And it's very true because I can see how it has affected billions. The final thing that I want to mention is that communication is key. If you keep your problems bottled up, it will affect you badly. A healthy relationship should be built upon trust and communication. Learn to communicate because it will help a ton. Don't play any mind games and be honest about how you feel and what you're comfortable or uncomfortable with. If you're ever suffering in a relationship, remember, you're probably young and you're consuming yourself for no reason. You gotta learn to just put an end to it, because there is so much more to your life, and you could be living it instead of crying over some stupid relationship that was taken too deep too early on. Get up and stop wasting your energy over someone that doesn't deserve it. You are way smarter than that, and I know it. That's all the yapping that I needed to do today. Take care of yourself and be careful who you date. Goodbye.